Well, here we are again, and I've managed to get it right this week. I think. Hopefully, we have gone live. Hopefully, I don't know whether you've got your eye on the chat there, Laz, on your laptop.
Laptop, sorry. No.
You don't have a lot. This is a wing and a prayer, then. Really, let's just hope somebody says hello in the chat. So if you're in the chat, please give us a shout out. Say hello. Let us know that you're there. As always, this is episode 16 officially of these live chats that we've done between the three of us, or four of us, five of us sometimes. We were due to have guess who, says Mick Manley. I wonder who it is. Is that you, Mick? There you go. Good evening, Mick. How are you, mate? And good evening, Ian Hollister. How are you? We were due to have Matchbox Mark on with us, but Mark's got a bit of a scheduling issue and couldn't make it. So what we're going to do, this is, like as I say, it's on a bit of a wing and a prayer. We've generated with a bit of AI, frightening gentlemen, a bit of AI we've been using to generate some further questions. Now, it may be that we kind of go over some of the stuff that we've covered before, but we have got new people in the chat that weren't there the first time round. So to kick things off, a good evening to my good friends, Mr. Martin Dare from Martin Dare's Dinky Restorations. Good evening, Martin.
Evening, gentlemen. Evening.
Good evening to Laz from Lazi-low collectibles.
Good evening.
Who makes a fantastic sausage stew, by the way. We've just been admiring his cooking skills, and we're all a little bit hungry now. So everybody over to, where are you at the moment? Romania or Hungary? Romania. Yeah, well, you might have to keep it warm for a while by the time we get there. The kitchen's open, yeah. Right, so let's get through the admin first, or where we start. We are over 370 members in the DMC Facebook group, which is fantastic.
That's good, yeah.
Didn't think we'd, people celebrate 400s and 500s. I celebrate 5s and 10s. So having 370 people in our little community and people joining all the time, mainly thanks to the lads advertising the DMC on their YouTube channels when they get the opportunity. It's fantastic. Ian is in the chat. Good evening, Ian. Has joined our list of benefactors who have chosen to help us out by paying between £2 and £5 to our PayPal link. It goes towards helping with the license cost of this software that we use. So my thanks, my thanks go to Ian. There's a recognisable channel, or now recognisable. Some bloke called Diecast Rival, Evening Gents. Yeah,
evening, glad you made it. Yeah.
Evening, Luke.
Evening, Lukey boy.
So,
happy birthday.
Yeah. We've celebrated a couple of birthdays last night. J-Mo from Pit My Diecast and Luke both are celebrating their birthdays this last week. So our congratulations to them, and they've been celebrating hard. Let's put it that way. So where does that leave us? Right. Well, we're gonna do this round. We'll do our round robin first to see what everybody's been up to, and then we've got some questions that we'll go through that have been generated. If you, as always, please chirp in from the chat. Our regular irregulars, if you've got something you'd like to know, any questions, any comments, please let us know and type it in the chat, and we'll endeavour to keep an eye on that as well. So, without further ado, we'll pass over to Martin first. Martin, what have you been up to this week, my friend?
Well, at the moment, I've been working on Mark 1 Dinky Cortina 2-door. It's going to be in white with a red interior. That's should be finished by tomorrow night. hopefully, fingers crossed, and working on for the more than 4 will be a Budgies Scamble 6-ton low loader, which is basically it's got more than 4 wheels. As you'll see, yes.
So that would help, yeah.
And it's multicoloured. So that's in primer at this minute. There's quite a lot of components to that for a small vehicle, but it's there. And I'm going to do something a little bit. Well, I can't give the game away. I'm doing a I think it's a Lone Star or a Crescent. I can't remember which one it is now. It's a racing sports car anyway. But there's going to be a little twist at the end of it. Yeah. Okay. So you'd have to tune in and see that.
Is that one of your weekly videos, is it?
Yes, it'll be a weekly video, but it'll be the one after the more than 4th. That will be the week before the end of the month.
Cool.
Then if you've got the purchases and donations, or donations and purchases, whichever way you look at it. And yes. I've been digging out November's work. So we've got the Dinky Toys tank transporter, the low loader, and the tank on the back, which I think is a Centurion. Looking at the turret, so we got that, the first one. Yeah, it's quite a big one, that is, but luckily it's all one colour. That's it. Both of them's all one colour. So we'll get some decals for that, for the just to stick a few decals here and there on it. And I'm not sure with the other 2. I think I've got a double coming up. I might do a double if I get chance. I've got a double, yeah, double trouble. So really, apart from that, that's where I'm at the minute.
Good
stuff. What I tend to do is I tend to load out the boxes, stick them on the bench, look at them, and then think, well, that's what I'm going to do this month. And then I look again next day or a day after. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. And so I always get a fair few out, and then I change my mind until I settle on a few. So my bench at the beginning of the month is always full behind me, which you can't see on camera. And then I just decided day by day, no, I'm not going to do that. I ain't got time to do this one. I'll do this one instead. Yeah, and that's how it works for me. Yeah.
Good stuff. Thank you for that, my friend.
Right.
Our good buddy, Lass.
I just finished the Soviet-made Volga again today. It's baby blue or very light blue. That's done today. I completed a 80s Matchbox Porsche 1-64. I put some decals on, random. So I made it like a rally, and Andy sent me some decals, and that was a German flag stripe. So I put that on as well. It looks fantastic. And a Corgi Toys Mercedes, I think it's 220. And this one, the one I showed on my short live, that it's got a separate front wheels. So they are not the regular axle and 2 wheels. It's 2 separate with a rod between. So that one is finished. And I'm just currently doing a Corgi Toys Triumph Herald Coupe, which is, I think I can finish that tomorrow, I believe. And I've got, I think, 5 buses, 4 small Matchbox double deckers and the Corgi Toys double decker on the tomorrow. Tomorrow I need to look to start another one for the channel, because these buses are for diecast restorations without a video end of October. That's gonna be, I think I should have at least 8 cars completed. I think last month, September, was my best since I run this short video series. I've done 9 cars, actually. I've completed 9 cars with video, and 3 cars for the channel. So yeah, it's been busy 2 cars in September.
Excellent.
Thank you for that, buddy. Is that you caught up? Yeah. No. Could go on for hours, bless him. We've been joined by Play Apps Russ. Did I get that right? Russ? Is it Russ? Ross? I think it's Russ.
Russ. Yeah.
He's gonna want somebody. Please prompt me. Good evening. Good evening to everybody that's in the chat. what have I been doing? Right, I've kind of gone down this route that I'm doing the diecast challenges, and then in between, I've got my own little side project of doing these creature features 3D models going on. But firstly, I'm going to be doing a little half track, Matchbox half track for the more than 4, made of elastic bands. So that'll be one, and then I'm going to do a more than 4 and emergency vehicle combined with the crane. But what I want to do is like the army fire engines, the green goddesses, in that kind of colour.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use. I've done about 4 or 5 of these, and it gives me an option. I've got some cranes as well. Some hooks that I need to use up. So might be doing that. From a 3D point of view, I'm currently working on a werewolf.
That's cool.
Honing painting skills. So I've got a Warhammer workshop just across the road from me. So we've currently done Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah.
Unless you're a Fallout fan, you won't know what Fallout Vault Boy is. Did that. Did a bit of blending and mixing with Godzilla to get the effect of his charge.
Nice. Yeah, that's nice.
I like Godzilla. I'm a big Godzilla nut. The Japanese ones I love. The old Japanese Godzilla ones. I did find Martin Telly Savalas for
you got him.
Kelly Heroes. Kelly's Heroes. So that's the Telly Savalas. I'll just put it side by side actually.
Yeah.
If I can. So we've done Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, that's
and now
nice.
we've got Telly Savalas to go by the side of it. I'm going to obviously paint that one. And then finally, I've got a spare hand. So there's Thing from Adam's Family, and it's a little bit more realistic. I mean, because obviously ants can walk about on their own, so it's obviously realistic. It's a little bit more. This was the practice one, and
it's a bit more grown up.
So I want to put some glazing on that around the stitches, and I love these. I've mentioned to the chaps before. I love these Citadel paints where you can get these blood effects and all these textures and whatever. Like they're fantastic. And a shout out to the Northrax Wargaming workshop across the road from me. Who've been really good at giving advice. Great bunch of folks. Went around. I think they're sick of seeing me because I'm going around every other day asking for more paint. So yeah, that's my that's what I've been doing, and I'm also trying to look for, if I can get it, the third Predator movie. If I get this right, is one where they go to they get dropped on a planet where the predators go hunting for.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a sport for them, isn't it? On the training ground. But anyway, they've got some. The Marines have got some pretty cool weapons, and I've been watching a lot of weathering and painting videos from Citadel, and there's a great effect for a gun where it gets hot towards the end, so it goes like from blue to purple with contrast on it. So I'm looking to get a 3D print of a space marine of some sort to do that kind of. Have a go at doing that. That's me waffling on. Right. So have we got everybody in the chat? Is there anybody we've missed? I don't think so. We're pretty much up to speed. Happy birthday greetings. Yes, our friend Luke. Happy birthday. Right. So we got a little bit lost, and we've had to kind of rumble something together because we could have cancelled tonight due to various reasons. But then I thought, well, we had a discussion. People are starting to look forward to doing this Saturday nights with us. So, and whether it's 7 or 8 or 708 in the chat, it's got to be worth doing because you don't want to mess people around. So here we are, and we've generated another set of questions. So if you did it, for the first episode, we asked each other 10 questions and blah, blah, blah. So I've been onto an AI app and said, give me another 10 questions to answer. So we may have to skip over some of these because we may have done them before. By all means, answers on a postcard in the chat if you've also got something you want to add to these questions, an answer to one of these questions.
Sorry, before we start the question, can I just mention what we were discussing the other day? While we're live, you might as well ask whoever's watching or whoever's going to watch in the future.
Yeah.
Would you like, as an option to us just sitting there nattering, would you like for us to be actually working on our benches and with the cameras facing down of what we're actually working on and chatting at the same time, like some of the other channels do? Would that be of any interest to anybody? So instead of just looking at 4 faces or 5 faces, you could be looking at what we're actually working on. You know, and we could be chatting. We could be chatting, doing our normal chat as we do. That's if we haven't got a guest. If we've got a guest, then that's different. But if we haven't got a guest, then we can do that. You can have the cameras pointing down on the bench, and you can see what we're doing, whether we be detailing or whether it be whatever. But obviously not drilling and gremlin because it'll just drown out the mic. But you know, something like that.
I mean, you could even, in certain respects, Martin, you could even do that because we can mute a mic while you're doing a Dremel work, and the other 3 guys or the other 2 guys can be still talking. While you're,
you know, I would probably, because I can't do it in my shed because the reception's rubbish, but I could bring stuff down the house. Like I could be doing windscreens, cleaning windscreens and do a bit of detail painting, something like that. You know, it's just if that's of interest to people, then you know, just put it in your comments. If it's after this video's gone out and it's maybe a week or 2 later, then we can revisit and see what we think.
Yeah. We're also looking for. We've kind of gone down the route of fairly or unfairly, I'm not sure. We kind of went down the route of interviewing people that have got YouTube channels and asking them to come live on air with us like we are now. If you are prepared and you are a restorer and you don't have a YouTube channel, shout out. Mick, I know Mick's there. We're gonna be asking Mick. We're gonna be asking our good friend Mr. Ian Ulley as well. If you'd like to come on live with us and have a chat, show us some of your models, all you need is a mobile device or a computer with a webcam. And Mike, if any questions, by all means, shout them out in the chat if you want to take part.
Yeah, that'd be great, that would, because it'd be nice to get people on who haven't got YouTube channels, because a lot of people out there, for whatever reasons, don't have a channel. You know, it's understandable, it's not for everybody, but they might do a one-off, just come on and have a chinwag with the lads, and you know, it'd be nice to actually, you know, see some of the people that we don't see, because we don't see them. When people have got channels, you can actually see the person, but when they haven't got channels, it's difficult to communicate. But yeah, it'd be great. That would anything really. We're pretty relaxed here, as long as it's, you know, it's good, clean fun, and we don't mind. Yeah.
It's not the tavern. It's not our Friday night tavern. That can be a bit raucous. This is a little bit more controlled. And good evening to Kev. How are you, buddy? Good to see you, mate.
Evening, Kevin.
Evening, Kevin.
So mixing it like that. Play ups sounds good, Martin. Saying good evening, guys. Ian, multitasking, modelling, and merriment makes sense. Yes. Me and Laz might just sit back and just let Martin do a load of demos. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Just carry on.
When I get in the zone, mate, it doesn't matter.
I mean, one of the other things that, as I do these 3D creature features, Martin does a lot of other kind of models as well. So you know, there's that other there's the other side of things to do. We can even go cooking with Laz if that's what you would like to see.
Yeah, cooking with Laz.
Yeah.
That'll be. I was always thinking to do a cooking channel as well.
Well, that
There you go. There you go.
stew, mate. I'm all up for that. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like, yeah.
Potato chew with some hot dog sausages. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sausages. Yeah, that's that old advert.
Sausages.
Sausages.
So there you go, boys. Feel free to contact any of us, but mainly through the Facebook page, the DMC Facebook page, or I think my email's attached as well.
Yeah, I mean,
Evening, guys. I can chat whilst cleaning up my son's mother's dining room. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I can sit and do something like this all night long. You see.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice. Look at that.
Yeah, that's it's all. You'll see how all the books folded and made up to make everything up. Yeah. So
this one of the Temu models.
it's well, it is. Yeah, it's called. This one's called Magic Shop.
Yeah.
So I'll just show you on the front here when it's done. And it keeps me sane, chaps. Keeps me sane.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
They're beautiful.
Harry Potter.
Very much so. Very much so. Yeah. When we went to Stafford. We actually found. I was surprised that we actually found a stand that was selling those kind of models, but they're anything from. I brought one for my dad, and it was £9. It was very simple, but then they went up to like 180 quid because they got mechanics built in and that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, it's my TV set. Yeah.
Yeah. And Martin's got some brilliant ones. There you go.
Anyway.
Right, boys. Let's crack on with this and let's see where this takes us. And we may have visited. We'll do them in blocks of 5 at a time. We've got 30. If we run out of time, so be it. If anybody's got anything, Kev saying, "Good to be back in the tavern last night." Well, you were welcome back, mate. I'm not sure about good to be back at the tavern last night. You got a bit chaotic. But it was good to see you, mate. It was good to speak to you.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was good, Chef. Yeah.
Right. Question 1. We'll go with Mr. Dare first. Are there any die-cast models that are notoriously difficult to restore due to their design or materials?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's one what springs to mind straight away. Chitty Bang Bang. Corgi Toys Chitty Bang Bang. That is not many people on YouTube have actually done it. I know Corgi Bob has done one on YouTube, and I think Paul Restore has done one on YouTube. It's a difficult one because there's a lot of components, and I think one particular part with the wings on it is under tension, and it has to be done in a special way for it to work properly. It's like you have to do it upside down, if you know what I mean. I did see a video of the girls in the factory actually putting one of these together. It was only a quick glimpse, but they had it on a special jig. But yes, that one and the James Bond 007 car, that's got its problems and quirks. I think those two, I would say, for being complex and tricky, and you need more than one pair of hands, would be my top 2 of complications. But then they go down slowly. It depends. I can see those 2 are really complex, but then you've got things like the Green Hornet, which is not too bad. And then you've got 1 or 2 others, like Man from Uncle, which is, you've got to get it right. You've got to get it right. It's got its own little. Each one has got its little tweaks that you've got to be careful of. You've got to watch what you've got to do. Even the 007 Lotus, what goes underwater, I can't remember what it's, the Esprit. That can be a little bit tricky if you're not careful. The trick is take pictures and remember how you took it apart. I've got a tendency to take it apart and then put it back together again within a few minutes of me taking it apart. So I get used to, because sometimes, as notoriously happens, as we all know, you'll undo a screw, you'll pull something, and ping, the old lot goes. And you think, oh, bugger me, where did that come from?
The next 6
You know,
months.
where did that go? And then you think, oh, flipping it. That's so. Just take it apart very carefully. You know what I mean? But even the simplest thing has got its problems. You know, as some of the lorries have got problems. You know, it depends. But for complexity and notoriously, which would be to me, Chitty Bang Bang, 007, and Batman. They're the three. They're the three.
Yeah.
For me personally.
I'm going to add one to that, but I'll wait to see what Laz says. I don't want to jump the gun first. Laz.
These are difficult. Yes, some of the corgi toys, when you take them apart, they look simple, and then you take the rivet out, and then you take them apart, and you realize they have springs inside. So if you don't think further, then you think, oh, I'm going to glue this together. I'll put the rivet in, the new rivet. But you have a tension because of the spring. So those ones you need to tap it. You need to put the screw in. But if you don't know this, and then you done the car, you clear the car, you got everything ready, and you put it together, and it's not going together. It's like this, the base plate is like
something's not right.
You cannot really drill when it's ready, because if you push it down, you put it down on something and you start drilling, you may chip it, or put some not fingerprints, but the prints of the material on the roof. So that is ruining the model. You need to start again, or what you're going to do. So I think these are difficult. And also I always found difficult the Husky ones, because they got plastic bases. The little 1 to 64. Those plastic bases are so fragile. I think I've done 3 or 4 of them. I think I broke 3 out of 4. And I was drilling really, really carefully, really slowly, and yet I broke 3 out of 4. So I find those very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, when you introduced me to Majorette, and the chassis on the Majorettes are brilliant. They're so easy to work with. It's a fantastic little. All of them. They're all a fantastic build.
Suspension is really easy. Those springy rod inside is just so easy to, because sometimes it's really difficult to work on the Matchbox. Because Matchbox has such a big range, and they have the old kind of axles when they they are under the arch.
They're like under a clamp.
Yeah, which is molded on the base plate, or that they have the metal plate which holds down the wheels, or you have the plastic one, which is really bad, because them little pins inside the plastic, they snap so quick. So then the model won't stand straight. It goes limping on one side, because if you break the plastic suspension, it won't stand straight. And then they got the later ones, which is molded down or glued down. So they're really, really difficult. Majorette is so easy, and also the small corgis can be pain on the backside. But for me, the most difficult was, or the most headache was the plastic base 1 to 64.
You see, just to butt in a little bit there, it goes to show that companies like Corgi and Dinky, as they progressed through the years, as they were putting profit before quality, you could see the changes. If you, like us, restore quite a few vehicles, and people who haven't got channels, but long time restorers, you'll see the change as the years go on, from the 70s, well, even the back as far as the 50s, 60s, 70s, and then you get into the 80s, starts getting cheaper. Plastic bases, like you were saying, with the plastic suspension, thinner axles, you know, as time goes on. But the earlier ones, with the early corgis with that piano wire suspension, it's simple. It's simple. It works. Same as Majorette. It's a simple method and it works. But then they changed it for those plastic suspension arms, the flat arms, what you get, and like in the Green Hornet and the Toyota, the James Bond Toyota 007, the white one with fires of rockets out the back. That's got the cheap suspension, the Cortina Mark 1. Very often they snap, very often, and you know it just goes to show that as the companies progress, the cheaper they got, and the quality just went downhill a little bit, as far as I'm concerned.
It is the ones that go on, lads.
Well, sorry, while you are saying your most difficult, I'll bring a couple of matchboxes. So after that, I can show the changes on the suspension system.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost like we could doing some like a museum type. You know how things have advanced, but
it's possible. It's possible to do that if you've got. It's like with the Husky changeover from Husky to Corky Juniors. Then you've got the certain suspension changes. I think it's more in the 1/64 scale that the changes were more, because you went from the metal bases to the plastic bases to the plastic suspension from different sorts, and coloured glass rather than clear glass. I think in 1/64 scale, even with the Hot Wheels as well, I mean, they went from the metal bases to plastic bases and stuff like this. So I think there is a bigger change in the smaller vehicles than there was in the mid-range. The Matchbox, I think they were in their king size and their super king size. They pretty much stayed as they were. I think wheels maybe. But apart from that, right, lads, go on, let's have it, lads. Let's have it, boy.
Go on, mate. You finish off what you're saying, and I'll add to at the end.
This is the oldest out of the 5 I done. So this is a grey wheel, metal grey wheel, and this is really simple, as you can see.
Yeah.
Just the arches and and you pin it. Very, very simple, very easy busy. And then we got the
well, you say just let me just pause you there. Just hold that back up again, lads, if you don't mind. So at the end of that axle, at the end of one of those axles, it's been pinched or stamped to create a flat end.
Yeah, this is the correct one, but I always file them down and then I just make a mushroom.
Yeah. Because if you try and create a flare, not probably the best way of putting it, but if you try to flatten that crimped end out,
it's
like trying to crush diamond. It's just not happening.
Yeah, it's really, really hard.
It is really hard. So then you think, well, I can't do it with a pair of pincers. I can't do it with adjustable. What's the ones I'm thinking of?
Long grips.
Long grip. You got the nut on the end, and you cramp it down. So then you think, what have I got? Oh, I've got a metal block. So you put you try and get the corner right on the edge or the end of the axle. No, that's not going to work.
Too small.
No. So what you need,
give up an alternative.
I think what you need, what I found is to do the crimping. It's the pincers and stuff. The longer the handle, the more purchase you can get on. I thought I found the answer, and I thought, and I bought this long handle pair of pincers, filed the jaws down flat. But of course, it weren't very. When I squeezed it, the handle squeezed together, and not the thing. I thought, well, chuck that in a bin. That's no good. And I found actually that I did it on a bigger Dinky toy as an experiment, and I found a set of bolt croppers. Yeah, actually works. Now I was looking through YouTube, I think it was a year or so ago, and I see a guy had actually got a set of bolt croppers, and he adjusted them somehow, and he made a jigger for this, and it worked. And I can't find that flipping channel again to find out what it was. But yeah, and I thought, yeah, bolt croppers, because they've got the purchase, you see, and they've got the power. But the other thing is with that is you've got to get it just right. Because if you don't, it's going to snap it, and then it's going to be a new axle because you've gone too far. It's too short.
You're also thinking that you're using something the size of a pair of edge clippers to pinch something.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Wide. So it's a bit ridiculous. I'm just going to pop over to the chat for a sec. Ian's saying, I've got a large Corgi Chitty, he's on about Chitty Bang Bang from 1968 that went through the factory, boxed up and sent out, riveted up without the wings being fitted. Must be rare and probably done on a Friday night. Wow.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. That's not bad. Then that's to have that happen. Yeah.
Well, it ain't, because if you can prove that there's been no
tampering.
Thank you. I was looking at fiddling, but tampering sounds better. Then you've got a bit of a prize on your hands. Yeah. He's also saying Dinky changed to speed wheels in about 1970 to try and compete with Matchbox when they changed from separate hard tires to red plastic hubs and red plastic hubs. Yeah. I mean, I just don't like them super fast axles. They're I mean, a needle is thicker than some of them axles on some of them super fast.
Yeah, I mean, it's a classic example. The Dinky Toys Eldorado, that has got really, really thin axles, and it's a heavy car. I mean, it's a big heavy car, but it's got really, really thin axles. And the same as a Parisian, that's got thin axles and slotted tires. And once they bend, because they're that thin, they're a job to get exactly right again. You know, I mean, because they're so thin.
I wanted to cut an axle of a Dinky Toys one. Forget it. It's
you ain't
so
cutting
hard.
that.
No, I mean, I did the Matchbox K. I think it's the K5, which is the little green transporter that holds 2 racing cars.
Yeah.
And the way I got around that was to do the tubing version.
Well, yeah. That is the way around it.
Yeah.
But
so it's
I struggle sometimes. I struggle sometimes peeling over the axles on some of them old Dinkies. I tell you, some of them are pretty hard. You're thinking, I'm going to tap around on this. I was doing. That's one of them was the Mercedes trucks, the white Mercedes truck with the plastic canopy on the back, and them axles are thick. And I was trying to peen them over, and the fear of doing that is because of the length of the axle. If you're tapping with a hammer, you've got to give it a fair bit of clout because they're quite thick. But the trouble is you've got to avoid bending it because of the length of them. You put too much pressure on the end of that axle, it will start to bend in the middle of the axle. Yeah. So you have to be wary of that. So it's back to the light tapping, but you've got to get the angle right. It's all in getting the angle around that mushroom.
I mean, one of the tools that you need in your toolbox is patience. You really need patience.
Yeah.
If you're like you're saying, you're tapping over that, so you're pinging over that, or pinning over, call it what you like.
Pinging over,
Pinning over. You've got to have the patience of a saint, because you don't feel like you're doing anything for the first 200 or 300 taps, like. And then all of a sudden it'll just catch. And you'll be so happy.
This one, I've done the mushroom on this one, you see. It's just enough to hold the wheels. But this is the next stage. This is you see now the axles are inside.
Yeah.
But this is still no suspension inside. So, I mean, there is, but it's still no suspension inside. But this is the next stage of the suspension change. And then and you got this one, which is now the super fast wheels. It's the exact same car. Super fast wheels. And now this one has a plastic, like a plastic
chassis.
Like a chassis inside, which sits at the bottom of the interior.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, I know what you mean. Yeah, like a leaf spring. Yeah.
So that's the next stage, and then you got this Mustang, which has got a white plastic which is glued to the base. That's the one, the movable front wheel, and then you got the 80s, which is, I've changed the wheels, but this has got the metal plate, so it's still not the later plastic. I don't have.
You can also find that the wheel axes, the wheel axles are attached differently in different countries.
And now this one, you see plastic base.
Yeah.
So we are in the, I think we are in the 80s now.
You see, you've got that version where the clamps are on the inside.
1982.
And you have to get like a Dremel attachment to open up the clamp to get the axles out from the inside. Anyway, one I'd like to add is the Joe 90 car, the wings on the Joe. Martin's already mentioned about wings before on Tuesday, and I'll also bring up Bob, who did the Joe 90 car, he had to thread a piece of wire, like piano wire. Well, no, not piano wire, but something thinner to hold them in place while he almost got it closed up, and then pull the wire out. But then you're conscious. I mean, the paint jobs that some of the boys do are fantastic. You've only got to catch it, just not attach it quite rightly. You've scratched the paint, especially on things like the Batmobile. I mean, I've been looking for the Holy Grail on the Batmobile, but I'll be devilled if I'm going to do them orange stripes. It's just
you got to draw the line. You got to draw the line. But they've all got their quirks. Let's put it this way. Like you say, when it comes to gimmicks, I suppose when they design and they weren't expecting people to like us to come along and take them apart. So the way they've done it is what suits them. But in the factory, obviously they've used jigs. They've had somebody design a jig specifically for that job. I'd love to get my hands on one of them jigs, but when it comes to us at home doing it, it proves difficult because we have to come to all these different DIY methods to try and do it correctly. There's
a reason why they were riveted, because you didn't want them to come apart. Here's us thinking we know best,
The other one, I think the other one, which is not, it's difficult to get right. I think it's by design. Is the Captain Scarlet, the SP, the big blue one, what they call it?
Yeah, the SPV.
Yeah, because of that door, they did a design change on that. The original one, probably in the chat, if I'm wrong, he'll tell me. The original one didn't have the white fin on the top, the push button. It was metal.
No, right.
And Captain Scarlet actually swung out on a hinge when the door was fully open.
Yep.
But they changed it to a white plastic cap on the top, and they changed it so it didn't swing on that hinge.
That's
but what I found was that if you notice on the majority of them, apart from the missile missing at the front, is that door drops, and it opens and it drops, and it doesn't. If you got the early one where the man swings out, if you don't get it right when you're pushing it back, it catches and it doesn't spring back out again. It's like it's got worn and it won't. It's quite a fine tolerance to push that back in the early ones with the swinging down. And I probably see why they did a design change on that, because I think it was getting broken a lot and it wasn't a very good design. So they changed it so it didn't have that swinging mechanism. But the door, if you look on most of them, its door is dropped like that. It drops because of the weight of the actual door at the end and the length that it comes out. That could be tricky, that one.
I'm just gonna. I want to pop into the chat just to pick up on a couple of comments, but We were struggling tonight to think about what we're going to talk about. We've answered one question, and it's took about 40 minutes, which I think is fantastic. Like, you know, I mean, I always come off. We always come off air, and I'll say to the lads, like, that went well. How the hell did we manage to get through 2 hours? And we've done it every time. So that's great stuff. We've been joined in the chat by John Atwell, who's a member of our DMC community.
All right, John, how are you, mate?
Thanks for popping in.
Yes.
And John is saying, "Hi, I would like to ask a question." Absolutely. When I may have to pass the book on this to the when I spray painted my Hillman Husky, it was dull blue. When I spray painted it in clear varnish, it made it more bluer and shiny. Okay, I'm might be missing the back end of the question in the text there, John. I would like to ask a question. When I spray paint my Hillman Husky, it was dull blue. When I spray painted it in clear varnish, it made it more bluer and shiny.
Yeah. If I take it you've painted it, John, with a rattle can, maybe. You put your blue down, and you'll get a certain. The blue will come out of the can and land obviously on the model when it's dry. It's like a semi-gloss sometimes. I have that. It looks like it's semi-gloss. It's not particularly glossy. But when you put the lacquer on, it brightens that color. It brings that color out. So the color is because you're like putting a clear glaze over it, and it's like coming out. It's bringing the color out forward. That's what's happening there.
I'm also wondering whether was it a gloss clear varnish as opposed to a satin clear varnish. It depends what effect you want. If you want a satin, so let me give an example. If you want to do the Michael Keaton Batmobile from 1989, 86, 89, whichever that may be, it's a very satin version of a Batmobile, whereas the 1966 is more of a glossier version. So your type of varnish that you use can also have an effect on it as well. I
think when you paint a model, John, as you know, you paint it does come out, unless you put 2 or 3 coats, you put a couple of light coats on, and then you go over with a heavy wet coat. That'll make it shine before you put the lacquer on. But the lacquer will basically flatten that paint out, and it'll bring a shine to it, a proper nice shine to it. That's why we tend to use it. But you've got to be. I always stress this: if you're painting, is keep room temperature, because some people will paint and they'll say, "Oh, why has my paint come out dull?" Or it's come out with a bloom on it. It's because you got condensation in the air, and doesn't matter how many coats of lacquer you'll put on it, you might get a bit of a shine out of it, but not much. You need to rub that down with a bit of wet and dry. You don't have to strip the paint; you just rub it down, get that bloom out, and then either recoat it, or if you took just enough off, you could lacquer it, and it will still bring the color out.
That was one of my... good evening to Jerry. Just to good
Jerry.
Evening, Jerry.
How are you, Jerry?
Good to see you. Luke
You're
is
late,
saying,
mate.
Luke is saying, "Hi, John. The blue you used was a base coat blue and requires lacquer." Okay, so the Luke knows a little bit more about this than this story than we do.
Luke.
Yeah, it's about time he got his act together, isn't it? You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like. But there we go. Right, shall we try question 2? That took a while, didn't it? I love it. Question 2: are there any models or brands that are particularly difficult to restore due to their construction or materials? That sounds very similar to the question.
Yeah, great. Move on.
Yeah. So, apologies. Some of these questions are kind of similar, so we're skipping through some that we don't like. Well, this one's quite interesting. Are there any restoration projects you've worked on that you would consider historically significant or rare? You must have done something that's hard to find, Martin, because I know you're sometimes you're looking after completing your Dinky range.
Yeah.
What's the hardest one you've had to try and get hold of that you wanted?
Yeah, that depends on how much I want to pay for it, I suppose. It's a double-ended question now. I mean, everything's available if you're going to prepare to pay a price for it. But to finding something, I'd like to buy it to restore it rather than buy it in a box ready done. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Say, for instance, I wanted to buy something. I could quite easily go and spend hundreds of pounds on it in a box, yeah. But I'd rather buy one which is 3/4 complete, which is tatty, that I can restore. I would feel more fulfilled. I would feel better doing that than just buying it and then sticking it, because I am not per se a collector, you know, but I have beginning to collect a lot of stuff here, even though I'm not a collector, because by the nature of what I do, I've got a load of stuff here. I mean, I all respect to collectors. Yeah, don't get me wrong. We all got out what we like and what we don't like. I mean, but hard to find. Yes. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I haven't got my book here, but
is this something that you're currently missing? That have you got like a?
Yeah.
You can't find.
I'm just trying to think. I've got one or two. I've already got one or two unicorn ones, but there's what was it? There's a few French dinkies, but I'll have to get back to you on that one. When I have
you completed your Chipperfield Circus, didn't you? So you've got
I've got on my Chipperfield Circus. I've got one or two others. There is. I haven't got my thing in a minute, but
you have a think on it.
When I have a smoke break, I'll come back and I'll let you know.
Yeah. Laz.
Hold on a second. Carry on.
I think, who did I see this week doing a bubble car? And that was a French model. I think it was Johan from Belgian Diecast.
Restaurant, yeah. We like Johan. He's been a big supporter of us.
He done a bubble car. And I've got two. I've got the Corgi Toys. No, I think I've got the spot on Izetta, and I've got the Corgi Toys Henkel 1. And that one, what Johan done, is quite rare. It's a French model. And it's like a bubble car as well. That I would like to have, so I can have the three next to each other, because I've got the Izetta done. And actually, the Henkel, the Corgi Toys Henkel, I've been waiting 3 years to get the glass. And it was Martin who sent me the glass. He had a spare one.
He's all right, that Martin Dare. He's all right.
Fine. I couldn't find which had a glass intact. So there was always a crack on the glass of the piece missing, or there was one which was in a bad state, but the glass was there, but it was pretty quick.
Your mic's gone very quiet, Laz, for some reason. I don't know why.
Let me see. I haven't touched anything.
No, it just went very quiet all of a sudden. Okay, I'm just going to pop into the chat then for a second. Jerry saying, so apologies, Jerry, if I get this wrong. Just got back from Mennonite country, stopped at a couple of country markets. Oh, did you get anything nice, mate? Ian's saying the Dinky. Ian's going to take the words out of my mouth, to be honest. The Dinky Ed Straker's car. The trouble is replicating the translucent, shimmering gold varnish type paint. I will add to the second problem with the Ed Straker's car is buying one for less than £50. It is out of the We talk about unicorns and ones that you want. I would really like an Ed Straker's card to complete my UFO collection, but they go for ridiculous money. Michael sent me a link to an eBay auction. It started at £12, and within the first 10 minutes of sending me that link, I clicked on it. It had gone up to £36 in less than 10 minutes. It was ridiculous. So sometimes it's not the fact that you can't get them. As I agree with Martin, it's what I'm prepared to pay for them. You know.
Yeah.
I've just been looking through. I've got quite a lot of what's in here, but you're talking about that spot on. Now, spot on. I mean, I've got one or two here, but because of the price of them, I don't go down that road. They are a nice card. Don't get me wrong. They're nice. They're a nice casting. They're quite weighty, but if you get one and it wants work, it can be expensive because the parts for them, the bumpers alone, because they're all plastic, very expensive. Windscreen. So it's the sort of thing that if I come across them and they're okay, I'll do them, but I won't go out my way to buy one and spend a lot of money on parts for it, because it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. I've got one or two of what I'm going to do. I've got the Caravan, which I'm going to do, and I've got that little Triumph sports car, which I'm going to do because I like that. But regarding Dinky and Corgi stuff, which is hard to find, I would say I've got the majority of it, except for the very early stuff. And the French Dinkies. Some of the French Dinkies are very nice. They get overlooked. They're pricey, but they do some nice castings of French Dinkies. But yeah, some of the really early ones, the pre-war ones, would be nice to get some of those. But apart from, oh yes, there is one. Yes, there is one. I just remembered. Where is it? The Chrysler Airflow. Now there you go. That's an early Dinky. It's number 30A, and it's a Chrysler Airflow. And I tell you what, if you see one of them coming up on the auction sites, get your lottery money out. For some reason, they just go through the roof, and it's no different to the Zephyr or anything like that. But it's because it's a Chrysler Airflow. For some reason, they're rare as rocking horse poo, and they are expensive. That's one. If I can get one of those, I'll be a happy chappy.
Can you
I
show
really
us
would. I can show you the picture of one, but you might not. It's the white one. No, get it right. That one there, the top two, Chrysler Airflow.
I see.
It's me trying to say the front of it. I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? But yeah, Chrysler Airflow. Yeah, it's not. They do come up now and again, but they are expensive.
Yeah, Ian's just saying a couple of things in the chat. Jerry's saying I got bacon. I'm the worst person for pronouncing stuff. Pepperettes and German summer sausage.
Oh! I like a bit of German sausage. That's nice. Yeah.
Bockwurst.
What?
Bockwurst.
There's no need for that sort of language on this channel at this time of night.
That sounds nice, Jerry. Very interesting. Very nice, mate. Lovely job.
Ian's saying he's thinking on my lines. If anyone has a Head Straker's car and fancies a swap, I have a very nice Dinky number 102 Joe's car. Let me know, or maybe contact PJ. So by all means,
yeah, he contact you. You won't get it, will it? You'll get lost in the post.
No, it might get lost in swats somewhere in the ether. Yes, if you want to do a deal with our good friend Mr. Ian Ulley, come through me or one of the boys. My email address is in the description or whatever. Like you know how to find me, or come through the Facebook or DMC on the Facebook page and contact Ian directly. That Dinky's from 1935. Russ is saying.
Yeah.
Is that right,
Yeah.
Mark? Yeah.
Yeah, it's an old one.
We
Yeah.
have heard that. Yeah. Wow, we covered. I can't believe it. I said to the lads, "I've got 30 questions." It's took an hour to do 3, which is fantastic. I love this. We didn't stop into the antiques markets. They have good diecast. Bit like we found out when we went to
Dagfields. Yeah.
Dagfields. Yeah. Now, while I think about it, we were talking last night. We're going to do another toy collectors fair, and it's Stafford again on the 29th of December. So if you live in the Midlands, up as far as Luke in Cheshire, down as far as I don't know how far as is it about you're about the limit, Mark, for distance?
Yeah, I would say yeah. For Stafford for me, what I say, nearly 2 hours. So any further, you're talking 2.5 hours. You know, Kev's too far down. He's right down. He's right down the south.
I did get the Manchester. Well, I call them Manchester boys. They'll shoot me for saying Manchester boys, but we've had guys from Manchester come down, Oldham area. It takes them about 2.5 hours. I think me and Mark are looking for another night together and have a piss up. To be perfectly fair.
Oh, sounds good to me. And a carvery. We'll have some of that, mate. Yeah. But it's Stafford's not bad for anybody who lives in the area, like going as far as Chester and Lee, wherever he is up there, Oldham, and down to me in Corby. So it's not too bad. It's not a bad run.
We are trying to plan some events. We've talked if you have a lottery in between us, we're going to buy a DMC coach and travel around we'll take a week out. We want to go. My dog's going nuts for some bizarre reason.
Belgium.
Sorry, she's going back. We're on about going to Holland on a war trip, World War II trip. Martin, just take over for 2 minutes, mate, while I go and shoot the dog. I mean that. I don't mean I'm going to shoot the dog, but
Don't you shoot the dog. Don't you shoot the dog. Yeah, so Stafford, it seems to be more central for quite a few people. We'd like to go further south, but it's transportation problems, with individuals coming down. If you car share, that's even fair enough. But then he's sort of going down. That we're going out to see Kev. We'd love to go down mob-handed to see Kev down there in Dorking, down that way. But that's the furthest south. We've got anybody. I think we've got a couple of people in Devon and Cornwall. But yeah, it'd be nice to get down there. But it's just a transport links, really, and then that's organisers stopping overnight. But Stafford, we can do that there and back in a day. I normally stop at PJ because he's about halfway from me. So yeah, it'd be nice if anybody could come along. The more the merrier, because this time we go to Stafford. It might be a bit cold, December, but we're going to take some lunch with us, and we do a lot of swaps with the cars. That we get our cars backed up to each other and open the boots, and and we all bring something, and we sort of delve in and help ourselves or whatever's there, and swap around and that. So it'd be nice maybe to have a bit of dinner while we're doing that. Sit down, have a cup of coffee and a chinwag, because when you're walking around Stafford, it's nice to walk around with your mates, but you can't always have time to, because there's a lot of people there. You're trying to sort of look at stores and chat to them and stuff, and you get separated. So it'd be nice to, as we're together, is to sit down and have a chinwag and swap toys and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the intention. More so obviously in the summer months when it's not so freezing. But December the 29th, 28th, 29th, yeah, that'd be cool. It'd be really good. It would be.
Even if I'm in the UK, Colchester is really far.
It is Colchester, yeah. I mean, it's about Colchester from me from here is a good 2 hours, lads. Be honest with you, down the A12, and I go Stansted and then cut across, and that's about an hour and 3/4, 2 hours on a good run.
Yeah, A1 to 120.
Yeah. So hopefully our government's not going to start charging bloody mileage now, but we'll see. That's another subject for another day. But yeah, sorry, PJ, you're back, mate.
My apologies. My dog can hear a cotton ball fall on a fairy's wing at 350 yards and think it's an atomic bomb. So bless her. She's just knocked a bit of boarding over, and then she Then she thinks it's somebody else's fault.
Yeah.
Go on, Laz. Sorry.
No, she's sleeping. She's sleeping. She was
Sonny's sleeping. Yeah. We're big dog lovers. All three of us have got dogs, so we're big dog lovers. This is one we haven't asked before. Are there any restoration projects you worked on you would consider historically significant or rare? I think what I will add to that, just out of time frame wise, is I like how people say something is a what's the word? I seem to think that everything pre 1970, sort of 75 and backwards, is a classic. Or what's the phrase? Not classic. It's
vintage.
Vintage. That's the word. Thank you. And when people say things are from 1980 onwards of vintage, I think, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute. That makes it vintage.
It makes you feel old, doesn't it? Really, when you do that.
Old, yeah, I found that. That's the one thing I found quite disturbing was when people started 80s is vintage. But for me,
like you say,
anything Batman or Jerry Anderson related, 1970 backwards, really. I'm a big fanatic of. I love the stuff. I mean, I've got a friend in Ian who's also a Jerry Anderson fan. We love talking and chatting about UFO, Captain Scott, Thunderbirds, that kind of stuff. Right. Okay. Question 4. Crikey. We haven't done this one before, Mark. So, can you share any tips on how to prevent further wear and tear on a restored diecast model?
Interesting.
You just built your model.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, yeah. I think
how do you prevent? Because I've got
the obvious thing coming to mind, first thing off the top of my head, it's not one of them psychology tests, isn't it? With say the first thing that comes into your head would be put it into a case of some sort. Yes. Because that would be the even put it in a cardboard box without wrapping around it of the vehicle itself. Cardboard creates dust generally, and if you've got a car unprotected in a box in a room, it will the box will dry out, obviously, and it will create dust. And when you take a car out, it's got dust on it, and if you move it around a lot, it's going to rub up and down the cardboard, and it can rub some of the paint off. So if you wrap it in the tissue, which is fine, but then if it's just static and so it's a funny thing, because heat, if you've got a stack of boxes, say you've got a stack of corgi boxes and you've got all your vehicles in them, you've got them wrapped in something, you stack them all together, and they will generate their own heat as a stack, and that will generate, depending on how thick your cardboard box is, that will generate. It can. I'm not saying it will. That paper will gradually shrink onto the model, and it can cause it damage. You put them in the glass cabinet that I've got behind here. I've got a glass cabinet here, 2 of them, and the dust gets in. The dust will get in. Dust is the biggest killer for restored models. As far as I'm concerned, I take mine out regular. I have a routine now on once a month. I take shelves out, take them all out, sit here with a brush, with a very soft bristled brush here, and I see got dust on already, and I brush the models over, and check for any damage. And what I have found, a little bit off the thing, what I have found, I put new tyres on nearly all my restored vehicles. And I found one or two of them, and I need to actually find out which manufacturer I got them from or which seller. But even brand new tyres, sat in there, they split. Yeah, they've split. Yeah, and they've mostly been the smooth, dinky tyres. Yeah, and it's not because of the wrong tyres.
Have you done anything to them? Have you lacquered them or anything like
that? No, the tyres go on last. They never lacquered them. They just sit there, and not all of them. You've got maybe 4 in a vehicle, and 2 are split, and 1 hasn't, or you got 1 split and 3 haven't. And it's not all of them. It's just an occasional one. Now I'm thinking, depending who manufactured them, you know. But that's not on all of them. I'm just saying that does happen. It even been in the cabinet. But get back to the subject. Apart from the dust, really, yeah, you put them in boxes, plastic boxes. You can put them in cardboard boxes. That will give it it will protect them. But the other thing is also, there's nothing you can really do pre that, unless you can't really put anything on the casting before you paint it to make it stop corroding. Really, I mean, by nature of stripping it down, a fresh coat of varnish, a fresh coat of primer, and fresh paint has saved that vehicle anyway, up to a limit. It will be good for another 20, 30 years, I would say. You know, the paint might not look great after 20 years, but it won't decompose, or it won't corrode away like a car being left in a box in a garage in a damp condition. So yeah, by nature of restoring it, you have preserved it for a longer period of time, to be honest with you. But I don't put mine in. I put 1 or 2 in boxes, but most of them are not in boxes.
Laz, anything you do in particular? Do you revisit some of your models? And
I just find out that I've done a Mercury Ferrari B, and it was nice and shiny. Now it's been done like 6 months or something, and the paint is like paint dry. It's like the paint shrinking.
okay, we're starting to lose your voice a bit there, Laz.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, you're a bit too far away, I think.
What I do is I have a small cabinet, but most of my cars I restore. The ones I really like, I keep. The rest I let go.
Yeah.
So I don't really have a storage problem, because I have a few people who are interested in 1 to 64 matchboxes, Corgis, Dinkies. So I have a few people who likes them. The ones I really like, for example, the bubble cards, I don't sell. So I do like it. Yeah, they get dusty a bit, but I've got quite a good small cabinet. I can fit 24 cards in there, depending on the size. So I keep those. I keep a few matchboxes, 1 to 64s. But mostly, I do let the cars go, so I don't really have a problem.
Okay. Yeah.
Them or something.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry,
I
guys.
keep them for a few weeks. I rest my eyes on them. I admire them a little bit, and then I let somebody else have it. So
there are certain vehicles I know that you're not going to let go of because of how enthusiastic you are.
Yes.
When we do the tavern on a Friday night, we talk about what models we're working on, and you can tell in his face when he's done a model that he really cares about and a really nice paint job. I mean, the one that you've just done with the decals on from Andy.
Yeah, the Porsche. Yeah,
I don't think that's going anywhere soon. That's no. He that came across like you really enjoyed doing that. Just jump into the chat for a second. We didn't stop it. Jerry saying we didn't stop into the antiques markets. They They have good diecast. Okay. Luke, looking forward to Stafford. Yeah, it's the 29th of December. We're going for Luke. If we can raise enough money, this is how ridiculous our conversations get. And we're going off topic, but one of the things I like is outdoor living. Not like I'm an outdoor person myself, but I love people that go out into the forest, put up a tent, and live in these extreme conditions. And I came across this channel, and this person, I won't mention the channel for certain reasons, but this person put up this inflatable tent, and it looked like a mini house, and all you needed was a foot pump. But it was something like £1,500. Like, it was ridiculously expensive. But I thought that would be great that we could take to events and we could put up a marquee or something where we do a swap and meet after, we go into the toy fair, which is what we've been talking about. We really enjoy having the swap, a tailgate, if you like, after the event. So, so what can I add to this wear and tear? A bit of advice, not like Martin and Lazi-low, but a bit of advice. If you're working on a model, keep it further than your arm's length, or anything like a chair. The reason I say that, this going back to this werewolf, you might just be able to make out he's got very, very fine fingernails, right? And these resin prints, no matter what, it doesn't matter what it is, do not react well to falling over. You know what I mean? I've got a Pegasus that's got half its wings missing. I've got a bloody skeleton that's got an arm missing. And it's all because of clumsiness and not taking the time to have somewhere away from me to put work in progress, out the way. But Martin's cabinets there is the one that he's got behind him over his right shoulder. Is a fantastic cabinet. Yeah. That's ideally what you'd like. You can get them from places like IKEA.
You can pick them up. In fact, I could have picked two up last weekend, but there's just no room now. I've just got no room in this place. I just go back to what you were saying about the.
Let me just interrupt you for a sec, Mark. I just want to keep up on the chat before it goes scrolling off screen. So Luke was saying, looking forward to Stafford. We're looking forward to seeing you, mate, as always. Jerry's saying, you guys are lucky. We don't have boot sales. We have flea markets, but hard to find bargains.
Yeah, same as our boot sales, mate. Jerry, exactly the same, mate.
Same here.
It's interesting that we struggle to get. Well, it's not interesting. It's because of location or geography. We struggle to get hold of the really good Hot Wheels, or the Johnny
Lightning
vehicle, that kind of thing.
And to Outlaw, they are rare in this part.
And for our American cousins, it's the same with the Dinky and Matchbox.
Our flea markets are your flea markets are basically a little bit bigger than our car boot sales. Our car boot sales, because there are a lot of people in the field with tables out. But it's like Laz and I were talking earlier on today. People have got wise now. You don't get anything cheap on these car boot sales anymore, especially in this country. You go in and people are thinking they've got the crown jewels for flogging you. So anyway, I was just talking about the tyres on the car. I've got this one on my hand. This husky here. I'll get this camera right. This little husky here. It's got the 4 brand new tyres on it, and one of them, I'll just show you. Where is it? There you go. You can just see it. Get the camera right. Split. It's there.
I mean, that suggests to me something. Well, there's a couple of things there. A, it's undersized, or B, it hasn't finished curing. It's almost like you've ordered it. they've gone and developed, they've gone and printed it straight away, and it hasn't had a chance to cure before it gets to you.
Well, that would, yeah, in that case, that would be all 4 of them, but it's not. It's just that one. So
It could be
yeah,
one separate sprue or something like that.
the other thing I do with mine is I tend to every now and again, I usually do it off camera when the model has been dried for at least a week. I used hard wax. I've got some 3M. It's actually boat wax I use on boats, but and it's a hard wax, and I put that on as a polish that helps protect the shine. So it makes it easier because these have been in the cabinet a long time now, and they've still got a good shine to them.
We've actually made him feel guilty because I've never seen him do
you made me feel guilty. That I looked at my cabinet, I thought, you know what, I need to get my Bedfords out and give them a bit of a
I've seen
dusting.
some of these for years.
Yeah.
Anyway, right, pop into the chat again. Ian is sorry, so I'm apologise that it's taking a bit of a while to catch up on some of this chat. We started to waffle, and Ian is saying people get these wrong. People get these wrong. Vintage is an original item made years ago, and retro is just a homage to the original, and could have been made yesterday.
Yeah.
Evening, I think he said. Even so, called antique experts. Even so, so-called antique experts get this wrong. Yes.
Well, I think in the real car world, if it's more than 25 years old, it's officially classed as a. Oh, that's all right. That's you go to Bedford, mate. Oh, look at that! What happened there?
I don't know. This is gonna be. I think you just gave me the idea. This is gonna be my next one, actually.
Yeah. It's been on that has been on a window somewhere in it, and it's got melted on it.
I mean, that restoration you've done there, Laz. Even I can't be kind about that one. It's struggling a bit. Yeah.
You see, there's another tyre there. This is another one I just picked out. Another tyre.
Yeah.
Three slots, 3 slits in that. Look.
Wow.
Yeah.
You need to identify where you're getting these from.
And that's a treaded tyre. That's a treaded tyre, not a smooth one. But it's only one of the other 3. It's strange, isn't it? It's a strange phenomenon.
I would like to add to the car boot sale prices that the prices are all right because they are talking with Martin. They are retail prices. So if you want to part of the tire, if you want to resell them or something, then you won't make money. But again, it's okay as a retail price because that's normally a price which is like an average price on eBay. But yeah, before car sales were cheap, you don't need to pay a lot to get something. It was, as I mentioned,
I mean, they're not all charlatans, but what I mean by that is there are people that go to the car boot sales who know the value of some of the stuff that's selling. But you've got a lot of, and I don't mean to be derogatory in any way, shape, or form, but you may get young parents who think that the plastic cars they brought for their kids is worth a fortune, and they're not. They're worth pennies. You know.
But yeah, I mean, the idea for car boot sale used to be that you get rid of the stuff you don't use anymore. Instead of skipping, you sell it to someone else because someone's rubbish is another person's treasure.
It's somebody else's treasure, yeah. The old saying, like, yeah. Jerry's saying, I have all my diecasts stored in plastic sandwich bags that aren't in my display cases. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jerry said Ziploc bags. Yeah.
Yeah, Ziploc bags. Yeah.
I know what you mean by the Ziploc bags. Yeah, you can go buy them from Sainsbury's in various medium, small, medium, large.
Yeah. These type bags, aren't they?
Yeah. Player Russ saying intense diecast swapping. I like that. You're good at coming up with names, mate. I'll give you that. Jerry saying, "Hey lads, I just picked up a majorette Mercedes 4x4 142 scale."
Yeah, that's some nice bigger ones. I don't see too many of them.
Sorry, let me do this again. Hey lads, I just picked up a majorette
Just gonna say that.
Mercedes, a 4x4, a 142 scale. Sorry, Jerry. He probably didn't understand what I said the first time. So there you go. Yes, sorry about that, lads.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I don't see too many large motorettes. Even now, small ones I don't see. I mean, the older ones. I've got some new ones from the shop. They are really popular. Got good selection. But in flea markets and car booths and markets, I don't see too many.
What's the biggest? I love the fact that we've only got up to 4 questions out of 30, and it's sparking a load of other questions. But I've got one for you, Laz. You being our majorette expert, what is the? Don't you wink your eyebrows at me. What's the biggest scale majorette goes up to?
I think it's 136.
Your microphone's gone really quiet, lads. I don't know why.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think it's
That's it.
like the
That's better.
I think like the king size matchbox. I think that's the biggest motorette size.
Yeah.
So sort of 143 scale.
Yeah, something.
Yeah. Like that Land Cruiser. I think that was a 143. That Land Cruiser I did.
Yeah,
I haven't seen. I have to be honest. I mean, I keep my eyes open. When I first started doing the Diecast restoration, I was, it was the big 3: Matchbox, Corgi, Dinky, and I said to Laz, I mean, we have many conversations offline now and again, and I said I wasn't aware of a lot of Husky, majorette, this kind of thing. So I haven't seen any. I've never come across any big majorette vehicle.
They have.
Yeah, there is one or two. Normally in the supermarket, you'll see them now and again.
Yeah, new ones. I agree with you, Mark. If you go into garden centres and places like that, you can see them new, like tractors and JCB diggers and things like that. But I've not seen any vintage, if you want.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
I have to say, I've been running the channel because I'm Lazi-low. I run the channel. I'm the boss.
Are you the boss of the channel, Laz?
You're the boss of the channel.
Oh, I ripped him to pieces for that. Bless him.
He's been my boss.
Before I start collect, I mean in Hungary, I remember 4D and models of yesteryear because my dad bought and Matchbox. So when I bought the first big lot, I've seen these ERTL and Britons and small 40s and
Ertl, yeah. That was another one I wasn't familiar with. Ertl.
Yeah, it's ERTL,
Yeah.
ERTL.
Is your mic leaning against something?
No, I'm on a charger. I was on the charger. Is it better?
You've got to lean really close. It went from. Yeah, I don't know why it's gone so quiet.
I think it's the phone. It's an older phone, so it's not really good.
Okay.
Yeah. When you get into the, you got the Ertls, like you say, and you got your Siku and your majorettes. But when you go back in time, you've got some of the older manufacturers. Apart from Dinky and Corgi, you've got your Lone Star, your Crescent motors. You got Bembros. Yeah, and you go back quite a bit, but a lot of those amalgamated together. I think they were sort of swallowed up by other companies.
I think budget toys became like part of Matchbox because they were Matchbox companies.
Well, yeah.
I think Impy and Husky. Husky became Corgi Juniors.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
Corgi
Yeah.
Juniors become Corgi, small Corgi, and
Yeah.
and so they melted into each other. They merged into
Let me
each
just
other.
okay. Let me just jump back into the chat and just cut. You're missing. I'm missing my administrator. Where are you? Where are you with your laptop? I can't believe it.
Next time.
Oh, next time. Russ is saying Matchbox Super Kings odd plastic wheels would split when production moved from Macau to China. I don't think there's a good one between Macau and China, to be honest, Russ, if I'm being perfectly honest. And we've been joined by Mr. JMO, shaky hands at Shed Model. It doesn't.
Evening, JMO. How are you doing, buddy?
My diecast, JMO. Oh, crikey.
Here's my diecast.
Which traders are, I'm just going to say, not very good, Paul. Just remember where we are. We're not in the tavern. Mr. Inulli is saying there are too many full-time market traders at car boot sales.
Right,
It's not
true.
really
That's
car
true.
boot anymore. Quite right, Ian.
Well, I think, mind you, I think Andy Bourne, he does quite well because he gets up at
He picks up some gems, yeah.
he gets up very early. I think he dives in before they even open. So he gets some right nice bargains, as Andy. At that rate, but we're saying like the manufacturers have changed. I think when it started off in England, then it went to Hong Kong. Then from Hong Kong, it went to where was it? Korea, Macau, and then it went on to China. So they'll die-casters traveling around the world with different manufacturers. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand our cousins across the water wanting to go for the Hot Wheels, down the Hot Wheels routes, because they kind of represented the dragsters of the time, when back in the 60s when cars were being converted and did the drag run and that kind of thing, like
muscle cars, mopars.
Yeah, that kind of. There's a certain amount of that we don't have, but I mean, I guess we've got the more classic vehicles like the E-Type Jags and the MGB GTs and stuff like that, Capris, etc. So I managed to get Capri in that.
Yeah, you saw you slid that one in there.
I just slid that one onto the radar. Right, so JMO saying the only car boots I do now are occasional ones organised by charities or organisations to many traders at regular car boots that have already picked the best deals to the bone before you even get in. Well, I mean, they're even opening. I don't know if anybody else has experienced. You must have experienced this, Laz. You're driving into the car boot place. You've got your boot open before you've even set your table up, and they're trying to rummage through your stuff, like
Yeah, that's what JMO was saying. They'll grab your stuff at one price and then they stick it on their own table for double the price.
Yeah.
Yes. What they do, see in Colchester, what they done is oddly that before you could go in even before 12 o'clock. But after, if you wanted to go in by 7 o'clock, you had to pay more money than if you go from 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's like an early starters fee, isn't it? Yeah.
It was like £5-6 to go in before everybody else. But you see, that's why then people used to stand outside the car boot sale, and actually they can sit into your car like they go in with you. So they go in with 50p, or if you are selling it for £12.
But that's the same. To be honest, lads, it's not just the car boots that do that. When we go to the toy collectors fairs,
same.
How many times, Mark, do we see people walking out before we've even got in the queue with bags full of stuff, like,
They got stuff. Plus, buyers are going into the car boot sale. They lock in the car and they go around and they buy whatever they can, and then they stick it to their table.
Yeah.
And so when you go to the car boot sale, you got nothing left to choose from. That's why I didn't like it anymore. I didn't go anymore. It become like a business, no longer like a fun.
It's not what it was supposed to originally design for. It was designed for people to get rid of all their crap they had in their house, you know, cheaply to somebody else. But then it's caused, like everything else, it gets
where there's a book to be made, people will make it. You know,
yeah, carried away. Yeah.
Get carried away.
Yeah,
I want to try and keep up with this chat because we're falling behind a bit.
There you go, Ian. That's my Ladandy, Ian. That one there. Yeah.
No, we looked at this last night. Beautiful,
Yeah,
mate.
my one that is. Yeah.
Got
me polishing. What you doing my head in, man?
Have you ever said to Mrs. D, would you like to come and clean the
oh no, because I had some scale models in this one over here, and I tell you, bless my wife, I love her to bits, but she went to move something in that and she knocked off the bomb rack in one of my Russian MiG-21s, right? And she, I wasn't know best pleased, and yeah, so she doesn't go near them. No,
and we love it.
She does not go near them. No,
I always say as well to the missus, you can have a look. Look, it's done, no touch.
Yeah. I show her. Yeah,
she is. Well,
I always tell my missus when I've done it, I say, "What do you think of that?" I hold it in my hand. I go, "What do you think of that?" And then she'll go, "Yeah, I like that," or "That's crap. I don't like that." And
20 feet away.
She often tells me what colour to paint it and all. She say that Rolls Royce that I got, that Polysteel Rolls Royce I got on my last one. Kev's kindly sent me the parts for now. Bless him. Thank you, Kevin. As soon as she saw it, she said, "I'm picking a colour for that." I go, "Okay, whatever." So that's going to be. He's picking a colour for that. So when it comes on video, not my fault.
Right. Only car boots I know. So we've done that. Evening, Jim. Ian saying, "Evening, Paul. How you doing, matey? Decent for an oldie fan." Okay. Jerry saying, "I get my smooth tires from an industrial supplier of rubber products."
Yeah. I've been getting O-rings lately.
How deep we dive into that rabbit hole. But yeah, make sure you get the hydraulic O-rings.
Yeah, that's actually whoever said that. I did buy a bag of O-rings recently. I think it was month before last. Smooth tire O-rings, and I've had no problem with them. They go on lovely. They look nice. Yeah. It's a tire, lads. Yeah, what about it?
Yeah, it's like an O-ring.
All right. Yes. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I was just taking the Mickey one. I was just taking the Mickey. Yeah.
This is old, but it's still good actually.
Yeah.
I think these are too old actually. These ones. They look.
I think what Jerry's pointed out, you want to get the hydraulic O-rings as opposed to the plumbing O-rings.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Is that because they're probably last longer, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I've got a wobble on Lazi's mic, but Jamie was saying I use them on 1/64th. Sorry, I put my teeth in. I use them on 1/64th scale matchbox and some corgis, but certain cars are treaded and profiled. Yeah, they do. Yeah,
they do. Yeah, there is that. Yeah, you can only use them. You can only use the O-rings on certain ones.
Ian saying, "Evening, Richardson's Sheffield still flat." I think he's saying, "Even Richardson's Sheffield still flat, where some of it's made in China, I believe." Early bird entry. Okay. Finally, Jamie saying it's the same for Hot Wheel collectors. Kids don't stand a chance because of adult people going through their store deliveries before they get put out. Yeah, which is what we're kind of suggesting is you can be polling up down the drive to get to your stand, and already your boot's been cleaned out before you start.
That's the same as charity shops. What do they do now in charity shops? Apart from putting it on eBay, you've got somebody in there on it putting all the stuff from charity shops on eBay. You've got dealers going in. What happens? You got dealers will go around charity shops on a regular basis, and they are known to the charity shops, and they'll go rummaging through anything was not put on the shelves, and they'll give them a price for it, and it's usually very cheap, and then they sell it in their antique shops or whatever. But it seems they got wise to that now, these charity shops, and they are putting stuff up on eBay, if you notice. And it just a quick note on, sorry, PJ, just a quick note on that, and I'm rambling on, is I don't know if anyone else has noticed it recently in the last few weeks, that on eBay, if you look at descriptions, that a lot of the sellers are using AI now for their descriptions. Has anybody else noticed that? Because I was looking at a description the other day on a diecast vehicle, and I thought, the length of this description was incredible, and it was just an ordinary diecast car, and I thought, that's AI. And I've noticed on 2 or 3 people are using AI for the description now. I don't know if anybody else.
I mentioned this to you when we first started doing this. Who thought you could go onto a automated chat and say, give me 10 questions to ask somebody who's got a diecast restoration YouTube channel, and it comes back with 10 questions, and I said, I said to Martin, Laz, you're not going to believe what it's asked us. I never even thought of these 10 questions. You know, it's brilliant and scary at the same time. The old AI.
I think the scary element is I'm
going to ask this question, but I can't quite make it out. Do you ever work on customizations or modifications beyond restoration, and if so, what are some exampons?
I know what you mean.
If you've got something you want to say on that.
Well, I think I'm gonna apart from restorations, you can go down the code 3 route, which is what a lot of people use, the thing code 3, which basically means you can do what you want with it. I think Luke from Diecast Rival, he does his customizing. You can, that sort of thing. I've done a few custom jobs, not many. I did a Range Rover pickup for Lee from Diecast Fixer Uppers. I've done that. I do 1 or 2, mostly subtle ones, but it's interesting to do. But I just like to restore stuff back to its, well, not originality, because it's never original, but with a bit of a twist, meaning a few extra details. That's it.
Okay. We're getting a warble off your mic, Laz. That's just why I'm muted it. Yeah. Do you ever go past the restoration, Laz? Do you do something other than what? Okay. So you pick up a majorette, whatever it may be. Do you think to yourself, I don't like that, I'm going to do my own version of it?
I often change the color. Yes, I don't like silly decals.
Yeah.
I've just done this Porsche. If you remember this, that one is
yes.
Porsche, I think. But mainly Dinky toys and 4D toys, the older ones, the bigger ones. I would like to. I mean, I know I most of the time change the color. I think of a realistic color, which I mean, this is gonna be possibly red or something, and I will just do, like tail lights, the same on the front, and that's it. So I'm not really going too wide with these ones, because I expect these, because these are old. So
I think the opposite is also true, because what you've got there is somebody's interpretation of what they would like it to look like, and some of us are, I'm not saying every time, but taking it back to what it should be. So
I was going to say that you talk about the customization. Just drag this out. Actually, it was on the shelf. This one is, I actually customized this, if you remember, for the challenge. This is the Dinky Jaguar, which was the one with the white one with the Jaguar down the side in black, and I changed the wheels on it, give a bit more width on the arches. Took all the front bumpers off and put a spoiler on the bottom. change the wheels and put the outlet for the exhaust coming out here, and change the colour. Yeah, that's an
Mark,
nice one. That is.
can you show me one of these ones? You don't-
Which one do you want, mate?
It is the Bedford, isn't it, Laz?
Yeah, yeah. Which one do you want?
Any, just to see what you done with the tail. How?
Yeah, you can put. It's very fine detail on the back. You've got. You get the lights on just about. They're not very well. They're not very cast in on these very well on there. That's what I found. You can just about get the red light in at the bottom, the stop light at the back there. But apart from that, you could put a number plate on if you wanted to. Laz, where the black piece is there, that black piece at the bottom there with the base tucks in, you could put a number plate in on there.
That one is not the bumper, isn't it?
No. They haven't molded the bumper in on these.
I don't think I even have tail light.
Yeah, you're very faint. They're very faint, lads. When you get the paint off, you'll see right in that corner.
Okay.
Right in that corner there, you'll see. Keep your finger on it. Down there, you'll see a little dimple. That's your tail light.
Oh yeah, I do see that.
There's
yeah,
there really isn't much detail on the back of them Bedford.
No, there's not really. Because a lot of them, like I say, because of that tongue what goes in the back, it doesn't give it a lot of room for detail. That's the motorised one. That one. That's the motorised one. That one.
Yeah.
That's got a nice colour to it. That one, Mark.
Yes. Yeah.
Let me just finish off. We've got a couple more chats, lads. So let me just catch up there. Jamie was saying it's the same for Hot Wheels collectors. Kids don't stand a chance because of adults getting through the stores before they.
Yeah.
That's
I know
what
what you're saying. Yeah.
And Ian's saying a lot of charity shops don't like or won't allow you to film because of data protection and personal protection. It's affected a lot of people who have YouTube channels. That's that is a valid point. I was actually so let me. Well, I've lost Laz now. Oh crikey! Well, sorry.
I'll stay for a minute then. Right.
There he is. Sorry.
Oh, he's back.
Don't know what happened there, mate. Sorry. When I'm actually thinking of. I love this Warhammer shop. Sorry, this Warhammer community that I've come across. I'm not into the game because I think it's at my age it's just far too complicated. Rolling dice and working out.
You will be.
God knows what. Good luck to them. But the community, when you talk to them about painting models and things like that, are brilliant. And they'll give you any advice, much the same as we do for diecast restorers. So it's worth asking around for advice from different sources, not just because it will apply to any kind of models that we're doing. Right, we've got about 10 minutes left, boys. We've only done 4 questions. I can't believe this.
Toast time, then, isn't it?
Toast time, yeah.
Yeah.
So mainly thanks to the guys in the chat for helping fill this one out. So Ian was saying a lot of charity shops don't like or won't allow you to film. Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. That's where I was going with this. I would love to go to the Warhammer place and ask Andy, who runs the joint, could I take a camera over there and promote their channel, but also look at how they're painting models and that kind of thing would be great. Because what they've got is a cabinet, just like Mr. D's got there. And people of our age and older are coming down and saying to Andy, I'd like to put my model into your cabinet, like, and display it. And the poor guy saying, I was talking to him, he says, I wish someone would come and fetch the models back because I haven't got the room to display what's being donated.
Yeah.
And this guy, bless him, he must have been in his 70s. he came down with these 2 big boxes of magazines, Warhammer magazines, and all sorts. Go on, lads.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. I need to go. I see you next week. Yeah.
Taxi driving. Good lad.
Yeah.
All right,
bye.
mate. Not
See
a
you later,
problem.
lads. Take it easy, mate.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Take care, mate. I'll just let Laz turn upside down.
Log me out, PJ.
Log him
Log him out.
Kick him out. There he goes. Right. Thanks to Laz. It's affected a lot of. So we're Jerry said, I'm cheap. So if a restoration is going to cost too much in parts, I will make it a custom. That's an option. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's a good way around it, Jerry. Good way around it, mate.
Russ saying, bye, Laz. So is Ian. Bye, Laz. It's surprised now. It's amazing, really, when I think about it, how we've all come together. But that gets down. And another emotional thing that we went down last night, so I'm not going to go there. 10 minutes left. Do you oh, good one this. Mick saying bye, Laz. Night, Laz, from Jerry. Good one this one is, Mark, because I don't know whether you do. Do you ever work on do you restore packaging or accessories like decals, original boxes, etc., along with the diecast model itself? One.
To be honest with you, I have tried to restore parts of a decal what I've been on a thing that I couldn't get replaced, but not with any great success. So yeah, I have tried. Like you've got writing on the side of a van and it's partly peeled off, and I've tried to touch it up, so to speak, but not without great success. And to be honest with you, I have tried to. I've got some boxes that I have restored or tried to restore or even repaired on. They weren't Dinky and Corky. They were trying railway boxes and old Electrics boxes, because I've got some stored there for the man cave models when it kicks off. And I've tried to repair those, but repairing them to a point without making it, because a lot of people used to repair them with sellotape. When you get them and they've got sellotape all over, it's getting rid of the sellotape without taking the print off. And I did have a way of doing it with a hot air gun, not the industrial one, more of a hair dryer. I did it once with a heat gun. I set fire to the flipping box. But with the hairdresser, the well, I don't use it, but you know what I mean. The hair dryer. You warm the sellotape up, and you can gradually peel it off, and without leaving the print. But
something to think about. We went into deep discussion last night about if we were to invite. Well, we are going to invite Ian to come on and do a chat with us. What we would like him to show. I don't know how gently to put it, but Ian also Ian collects things and repairs packaging. So there it is actually said, thanks to box templates available, it makes it a lot easier and cheaper than buying reproduction boxes. I'll say eBay. So it might be worth, Ian, that one of the things that we do discuss is repairing packaging.
Because it's something it's something of interest. Because I mean, I've got I've got a box up there which comes from the 007 gyrocopter Nelly. You know, the little Nelly. It's an original box, but it's in a bit of a state. To be honest with it, it's there. It's got the cellophane, but it's just so dogged and worn, and it's virtually falling apart. And I'm trying my best to keep it without ruining it at the minute. Yeah, so that'll be interesting. That sort of thing interests me, because anything new is different. I like to get an interest in.
I mean, no matter what your view on this is, do you like to keep them as close to what they were supposed to be. However, what was it? Do you restore packing or accessories? It's opened up an whole new world now because we can do 3D printing ourselves.
Yes.
We can print decals ourselves. One of the aims of the DMC was to have people that, I wouldn't say specialise, but are encouraged to go down a certain route. So we got people like Kev, who has got a bucket full of spare parts. Sorry. He got a load of spares because of the nature of the way he goes with his channel. It's banger racing, so he has windscreen and interior spare. We've got Andy Bourne, who loves doing his decals. There's several of us that like doing 3D printing, so we can do that kind of thing. I mean, I was looking last night when the channel started, or the DMC, going back to when it was my Midlife Models channel, and that was April 2020. Believe it or not, I don't know where them 4 years have gone.
Really?
Yeah, April 2020. So that's when we got together. Me, Martin, Laz, Lee.
Yes, yeah. Been a while, hasn't
it? It's got stronger and stronger and stronger the more we've gone on, which is, some of these channels fade away, but ours has got stronger. So we're doing something right. But also the change in what we can now do that we couldn't do 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Because it was out price wise and things like that.
It's always it's nice with the 3D printing stuff, but as restoring accessories, what accessories you get, whatever you can find, because a lot of the accessories on these toys either go missing, like the skis go missing, on the Citroen Safaris and that sort of stuff go missing. People are missing out of cars, ladders are missing on fire engines. If they're there, accessories, I'll restore them. If it's with the vehicle or with the van, I think the transit police with the signs and their cones and things like that. Yeah, if it's there, I'll restore it. But mostly, if they're loose accessories, over the years they've just disappeared and gone. There must be a bucket load of Dinky Ford Transit doors and stuff like. Because every time we pick something up, like a Matchbox horse box, the flipping doors are missing. So there must be a shed load of doors somewhere. But yeah, if they're there, I'll do them. But 9 times out of 10, they're loose, they've disappeared. Then you got no choice. If you want to do it, then you've got to buy the equivalent or near as you can. If you've got
there are options. By all means, if you're restoring a vehicle, doesn't matter whether you're a YouTuber or you just like restoring, please ask in the Facebook DMC group, I'm missing a part. Can you guys either give me the suggestion of where I can get it from? More often than not, if we can replace it ourselves within the group, we'll post it out. So try and help each other out.
We've got. I think a few of us have got enough bits and pieces. Even if you've got a donor car that we can help you out with, if there's something you need, and if you've got one, I have people ask me if I've got this or that and the other, and unfortunately, a chappy Dave asked me the other day if I'd got a Dinky Triumph Vitesse, and I hadn't got one, and I looked and I got all my gear out, and I thought I've seen a Triumph in my collection, but I hadn't got the Vitesse, the Dinky Vitesse. I'd got the Corgi ones, but not the Dinky Vitesse. And I thought,
I thought I got a little mini Tonka lorry around in my room.
You couldn't find it, could you, you bugger?
How frustrating was that? Right, let's get through these chats. Joe saying, do you know what is scary? Laz looks like a younger version of my best friend. Everybody
Oh.
needs a best friend like Laz. Russ is saying, Ian, where do you get box templates from? eBay. They're available on disc format or memory stick.
Yeah.
Is that the same CDs that you sent up to me?
I know. I think, yeah, they are. They're different sellers with the CDs. I mean, PB from Peter from PB Restorations, he's got a set of things. You've got to be careful with them. Though. You have to resize a lot of those on there. But there are sellers on there. What do it?
Russ, you need to get a Facebook account. We can help you out a lot more, I suspect, because I think you may be one of the guys that hasn't got a Facebook account. Just have a bog standard, no details Facebook account. Join the DMC, ask questions. If we can help you out, mate, well, they'll more than happily post stuff to you. He's also saying April 2020 was the start of lockdown. Yes, it was, and that's where I started.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to meet a bunch of. There's only 4 or 5 of us initially. Got together. It's a good old story that is, but
yeah,
we took us twists and turns, and we are where we are now. And happy with it. D, I'm at that 10 o'clock. I know it's toast time for you.
It is.
It'll be. If anybody's not aware, it's 10 o'clock. It's toast time.
Where we are in the world, 10 o'clock is toast time for me.
On the dot, he went into the kitchen and helped himself to some bloody toast. I couldn't believe it.
10 o'clock.
December's too far away for me. I love having Martin up here. He's great company. We have a great time.
Yeah.
Same with the other boys, to be honest. When we get to Stafford, meeting up with the rest of the crew, we have a great time. Please, if nothing else, you don't have to. The tavern can be a bit rough and raucous, but by all means, join the DMC Facebook page. Please subscribe to everybody's channels. You've got Martin there, Dinky Restorations. You've got Lazi-low Collectibles. You've got Michael at Gravesend, Australia, Diecast. There's more to it than that, but by all means, go and find Michael out. So there's Michael, me, Midlife Models Restorations, and come and find us. Come and join the community. We've got a great community. I love it. And my thanks to my friends. I can't thank everybody tonight because they've all baggered off. They've left me and Pete on his own. Our thanks to Laz. I'm going to say this tongue in cheek. Luke, get well soon. Because he's not very well, Luke. Our boy Luke. It's his birthday. He's entitled to have a good time. My thanks to Laz. My thanks, as always, to my partner in crime, Martin. We love doing this, and thank you to everybody in the chat because it all gets a little bit emotional at this time of night. So there you go. That's me done. Sign up, subscribe, come and find us.
Yeah.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time with, well, we're not sure
whatever,
yet.
The rest of 30 questions.
Questions out of 30, so we've got something to go at.
Yeah, we might have a surprise guest, though, mightn't we? We
might have somebody. We'll find somebody. Yeah. All right. So this is PJ signing off, and
see you later, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. And